Hello. So last winter, when we were doing our winter retreat, we were doing the medicine Buddha sadhana. I was doing a lot of study on bodhicitta and a lot of meditations on bodhicitta. And also, we were receiving teachings from Geshe Topke that had a lot about bodhicitta in them too, in the middle part of it. Um, and I came across a phrase regarding equanimity that I saw it worded in different ways, but pretty much that a being's appearance in this life and their relationship to us, their direct relationship to us in this life, is not a suitable basis for discriminations that we make, such as holding some close with attachment or um, pushing others away and having aversion and anger towards them, or apathy and indifference towards so many beings. Um, and when I do my meditations every day, I pretty much bring that to mind to think about equanimity. Um, I also thought about how beings behave differently in all their different lives, you know. So a being's attitude or actions in this life is not a suitable um, basis for us to discriminate against them when it comes to developing compassion and love. Um, and I've been thinking about that a lot. A couple weeks ago, I went and got a COVID booster, as many of us here did, you know. And I felt pretty good that afternoon. I was up and about, and the next day I was just knocked down. I didn't get up till right around lunch, and I was up and about through the rest of the day, but I wasn't really up to par. I was just kind of resisting it. I didn't want to be down. And I was out doing some tasks, and I found myself being really frustrated. And I noticed it. I'd say, wow, you're really frustrated. I wasn't around anybody. I was just trying to do some task, and it was just like, and I just really noticed that. And plus, I was pretty exhausted. There had been very busy up to that time, and very busy past then for a few more days. And my not feeling very well persisted. I was pretty exhausted, and I was just feeling ugh. And I was pretty moody and easily frustrated. So I decided to try and use that experience to have more, to try and develop more understanding towards others when they're moody and such, and to really try and develop understanding, because oftentimes my response when somebody's moody, if they're kind of cranky towards me or direct their anger towards me, is to respond back with anger. And I see other people have that going on too. In fact, it's that seems to be the normal expected response in our society. That if someone speaks to you angrily, you snap back at them. You know. Um, in fact, our society has a lot of times, a lot of situations that it's considered normal to be angry in, as if there is no other choice. Um, there's a in the book Samsara Nirvana Buddha Nature, discussing the Four Noble Truths. It says that everything that is an origin of dukkha is also dukkha. And so I think about how we're all under the power of afflictions. We suffer from them, and we suffer from our actions involved when we're under the power of afflictions. And that makes every being a suitable basis for compassion rather than for anger. Because if somebody's angry and I respond with anger, I'm ridiculously acting as if my anger is an antidote to someone else's anger, which is, yeah, pretty crazy. So I find it helpful for me to remember that afflictions, when someone's under the power of afflictions, that they're suffering, and to just um, try to cool my own attitude, not be defensive, because that's another habit I have. Um, and so, really, just recognizing the suffering of others, when they're angry, recognizing our own suffering when we're flustered and not doing well is so important. And I can, read about this and think about it, but I have a lot of growth to do in order to really be able to let the compassion I want to develop bloom. But I find it very helpful just to bring to mind little phrases and such like that, um, that just remind me to see other people's suffering. Because I remember one time a friend was really flustered at me, going off at me a little bit, in a mildish way. And I was, instead of getting angry, I just went, wow, this person's suffering. And that just really, it just cooled my whole response. So really, that's kind of what I've been thinking about a bit. Thinking about how, also how when we experience something negatively, we can use that experience to be able to be more understanding of others.